All right, Johnson, great to have you on our podcast. And you in like how many pairs of shoes do you have there?
And I have a whole, this is my bookshelf. I replace my books with shoes. I just read the shoe labels now. Yeah. And then, man, I think I have like 200 pairs here. I used to have a ton when I was younger and they got all destroyed due to aging.
Oh, okay.
Need some anti-aging supplements for those shoes. Yeah.
Next market. Next market. Nice, man. Well, that's it's cool to see the full array there. That's impressive. But man, I think dude, it's funny because looking at SixPackShortcuts back in the day, sort of the first people to start crushing on YouTube. And I mean, this is like 2011. You see Mike Chang as the sort of face of the whole thing, and they're doing amazing things. And I think at the time, like, no one else really knew, like, how are they making YouTube work? No one else was really doing it. And, that success seems like everyone I've talked to, except for you, has said that success was due in large part to you, sir. So I was really excited to just chat with you. And we can get into all the details of that in a bit, but I just wanted to, walk us through how did you end up being copywriting / business building sales machine? You weren't just born that way, were you?
And man, how I got started before even SixPack, I knew Mike since we were kids. I think I told this story before. We were breakdancing. We were competing, right? You have these breakdance battles. So we met each other. I beat him in breakdancing, and he was like, "Whoa, this guy looks kind of muscular." And I'm like, "Yo, this guy's kind of muscular too," because there wasn't that many. It's rare to see a muscular Asian guy during that time. Nowadays, it's a lot more, right? And I think that's one of the unique things about Mike, making him work, because there's not that many muscular Asian guys, right? Yeah. And then so we started becoming friends and working out together. We were like, why are we breakdancing? You got to breakdance to impress the girls and this and this. Why don't you just get in shape? You impress everybody all day, right? So we started working out together. And then later on, we actually started working at a gym together. That's where we got into sales and fitness. Everybody told us, you guys are Asian guys, they ain't going to work out. You're not going to build muscle, blah, blah, blah. But little do we know, we grew up doing fitness, right? It's crazy. You just got to believe in whatever you're doing. And went into sales. We became the top salespeople at this gym called Bally Total Fitness. It was the largest gym back in the days. Wow. And then we went into Mike became one of the top sales trainers. He didn't train people as much. He did the sales training at a LA Fitness. And I went into Lifetime Fitness. And from there, and then we kind of spread ways. We were always friends still, went different ways. And then I went into sales training where we would go to clubs that there was about 350 gyms at the time. I would go to clubs that aren't profiting and just fire everybody, fire the whole sales team, rehire, retrain. And then Mike went off to do the YouTube thing later. And I have no idea. Like you said, no one was doing that. I didn't know what online marketing was. I thought he was just filming videos on his cell phone and posting it for fun, right? I didn't know they were making millions in the beginning, right? And that's before I even jumped on. They started, I think they were doing a couple of mil already. It's crazy. And then he asked me to come help do some phone sales for this coaching program. And it's like a $300 coaching thing, right? But then when I got there, it didn't sell that well. I was like, all right, I'll switch jobs, took a big risk, major pay cut, took like a $50,000 pay cut at the time. Wow. To go over there, to come over here to Austin. And one day randomly, I was like, why am I calling these $300 customers $300 coaching calls that no one's really buying? So I just started calling the customers. And then sold about 12 different programs at $127 each, a digital program in one day. Wow. And then repeated it for a couple of days. And we're like, whoa, there's a list of customers no one's calling. What are we doing? So I started hiring. That's how we build our infamous sales team there.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And then in our scripts, we were like, man, these phone scripts, they work pretty well. Why don't we turn them into ads? Why don't we turn them into VSLs? And that's how I got into script writing. And then I replaced myself with the phone sales team and hired a new director and went to scale the marketing side and building the copy team, the design, the production and all that. Yeah. That's kind of a little quick story. But
wow, that's insane. So, okay. So how did you come up with the sales scripts to begin with? Okay. First of all, that's insane. So you basically, you were calling up these, it was an info product with like $100 or so, or $50.
But we had, at the time, we only had SixPackShortcuts,
okay,
which is the regular workout program. And then we had an insane home fat loss program. That's all we had, just those two. This is before supplements.
Wow.
We're just selling digital products. And then the insane home fat loss was a cardio program. So we would just, I was thinking in my head, like, they need both. They need to do the workouts and they need this intense cardio program. So I'm just, how the phone scripts, how it works is you just call them and say whatever you got to say and then go from there. And a lot of people want to get into phone sales. You just got to get some guts and call your customer. People are so afraid to talk to their customers. They think they don't want to talk to them. They want to talk to you. Yeah. I mean, if they see you on TV, it's like me buying I'm a football fan, right? So
yeah, I see that.
It's like me buying a Tom Brady sweater, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I get a phone call and it's like, hey, how you doing, Johnson? You just grab one of our sweaters. This is Tom Brady's training coach. I'm buying everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sell me his pants, his supplement. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So what's it like calling up customers? They're not expecting to hear from you, right? It's just,
no, they're not.
Yeah.
Some are shocked. And then some, I mean, most of the time they're pretty excited. They're like, whoa, you're calling me? I thought you guys were just some online company. I can't believe. So you gotta listen to some of the calls and man, they actually love the calls and then they love the values, but calling the customers, it takes a skill because a lot of, I'll tell you this, a lot of customer service teams out there are trying to do calls. They do decline calls and things of that sort, but they'll try to do customer calls. But when you don't have the skill to call customers, you could trigger refunds. Correct. So if I call 10 of your customers and I triggered 2 refunds, you're going to kill me, right? Kind of deal, right? So, and it drops your ad conversions and whatever, so yeah. So you got to be super careful. So this is a tip. If anybody wants to start calling their customers or whatever, calling their leads for fun and just seeing what happens, call your partials, or we call prospects. Yeah, call them because they can't trigger a refund, right? The worst thing that could happen is they get mad at you and don't buy, which they haven't bought anyway. So
basically people who have like abandoned cart, stuff like that.
Call them up. What happened, Ian? Hey, Ian, how you doing? Saw you were on our page, but something happened. You didn't get started. I mean, what brought you to the page today? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, not the day after, but today. What happened? And then kind of dig deep, find out what they were looking for and close them on that. And then upsell them.
Got it. Once you get that credit card in the system,
it's the same thing as a front end sell. You get them through the lander, let them buy what they want, and then upsell them. Same thing on the phone.
Got it.
Give them what they want. If you came in for a pair of shoes, give them the shoes. Don't try to sell them the shoebox. All this other stuff.
Got it. So is it moving from in this sort of phone sales context to actually writing the ads? Is it just that you had so much experience on the phone sales, talking to these customers, hearing their experiences, that the scripts for the ads just kind of came together naturally? Or was it something you took notes on? Just curious about your process.
So when we did sales, when we're doing sales, even in live, in person, or on the phones, there comes to I call phone salespeople order takers. They're not really salespeople. To me, the salespeople are the ad guys. They brought you the leads, right? Without them, you're just sitting there. So you're actually taking orders from those leads. The sales come in when the customer says no. That's when the selling comes in, right? So if you get a perfect customer, you present whatever supplements they buy, you didn't really sell them. So we go and so when they give you the objection, you have to overcome that objection, right? And then you tell them analogy, whatever, cool story, hit their emotions, their psyche, whatever. And I figured out why don't I just take that objection closing part and use it as hooks for VSLs? I mean, not well, VSLs and ads. Because that's what the most emotionally jarring part is. So that's how we started creating these ads. For example, well, I don't have a good example off the top of my head.
What about the where Mike's pigging out on camera?
Yeah. So we always look for things that agitate or make people mad. And one thing that everyone was so annoyed of and always was complaining about was Mike eating with his mouth open. So Mike, we'll be in like sales meeting or copy meetings, and Mike's just eating. He's like, and food's flying out of his face, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, Johnson, this is so disgusting. I can't believe he eats like that." Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, "Whoa, we got to make an ad out of him eating like that."
Right.
But about what? So we're gonna talk about Mike eating like crazy and still able to get in shape. And and that's how we created that ad idea. In fact, Dan, our CEO at the time, Dan Rose, was like, "That's not going to work. No one's going to want to watch someone eating." Yeah. Like, trust me, people are going to watch it.
And so was that the best ad?
That was our top ad. I think that did like 90 something million views and just like, it killed it month after month and month. Yeah. And we saw people making like parodies of it, tons of that. Yeah, that was our top ad. And the coolest part was it didn't cost anything. We just went and bought some sushi, supposedly, possibly healthy foods, right? Baked potatoes. Yeah. And whatever, laid it out, shot it. Yeah. And that actually taught me a lesson about, I talked about this before where, nowadays people are like, I want to create this amazing hook. I want to create this amazing ad. Let's bump up production. Let's go find this expensive talent. Let's spend all this money. That eating ad costs nothing. I mean, except you got to pay me and the editor. But beyond that, you bought some sushi and that's it. And had Mike sit there and shoot. So when you limit your budget and cut all this crazy thoughts out, just focus on your copy, you're actually going to be more creative. Your copy is going to be dedicated to conversions and blah, 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 instead of just depending on special graphics. You actually lose creativity the more budget you have.
I didn't know. I saw that Facebook post you did. I'll definitely share that link that you go into detail on that. I mean, so starting from the phone scripts, moving to the actually writing the ads. And then what's amazing to me is that pretty much every circumstance you've entered in this space, you've kind of come in as an operator, and then you're basically building a team around you who has they're like an extension of you. And I'm just really curious how you did that specifically on the copy side, where you went from, helping build this amazing sales team. And then all of a sudden you're a quote unquote copywriter, like marketing guy. How did you go about, this creativity and creating a structure where these people under you, first of all, attracting the team, and then also creating the circumstances where they can be creative and come up with amazing ideas and create these amazing ads?
In the beginning, I follow a sales process, how we've always hired, trained. So when I have a new sales guy, I would call for them and have them shadow me, right? We call it shadowing, where they're watching me call, and I would close them and put the deals in their name while I'm training them. Okay. And because you have to handhold these guys. You got to make them believe what you're teaching them works. You have to show them, when I became the chief marketing officer, I didn't have to write ads anymore. I could just help come up with ideas, but I kept writing because, like I said, I follow a lot of sports, and if you need people to listen to, you need to prove that you can still do it. So constantly, I'm making sure that I have winning VSLs. I constantly have my winning ads myself, because if you can't win, you can't teach your team. And I would do the same thing with my team. I would literally outline, let's say they have assignment of writing, I have a new copywriter, they have assignment of writing 3 ads. I would literally outline, they just have to complete my sentences for me. And this way they could get a win. They could whatever, get a converting ad, and they feel great about themselves. They have confidence. They're getting paid, and I think that's one of the key points, really carrying your guy in the beginning, or girl. In the beginning. Yeah. But yeah, same process, just repeating and just duplicating yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, like, what's your brainstorming process for some of these angles, hooks, et cetera? Like, how do you go about coming up with all these ideas?
Man, I am using VidTao. Of course. I'm checking out VidTao, looking up, top YouTube ads. I'm on Instagram. When I'm on Instagram, I only do two things. I look at ads and I look at shoes. Okay. That's it. And I look for when shoes are releasing, clothes and stuff like that. But the main part is I save every ad that has high views. And I take all those hooks and see how I could convert it to my own ideas.
Interesting.
But back in the days at SixPack we would have a Facebook group, which is private only to employees, right? And every ad we saw that we thought was good, we would plug it in there. So during our meetings, we would take the top ads and see how we could convert those. But beyond that, I would spend a day. So let's say we're like, hey, we need a batch of new 15 different ads. And from those different 15s, you can make, adjustments to make more. But those are the 15 core ads. And then myself, our copywriting manager, I had a manager that ran to other copywriters. She would have her own ideas. We would each spend a whole day coming up with maybe 10 hook ideas. We didn't write the body copy. It was no point of writing anything else if the hook wasn't good. So it's not like, I know I have friends that are like, yeah, I wrote 3 ads today. I'm like, well, I spent a whole day just thinking of hooks before we even start writing, right?
Yeah. Wow.
We'll come up with a 10. She's coming up with 10. Dan will also come up with his idea, how many ever he could get out.
Yep.
He's not in that department. We would meet and we will only keep the top copywriter, maybe one ad person, and then the CEO. Of course, we would look at it. We wouldn't include just random people because they're not in the same field. They're not the creative, thinker. They don't understand the ads and they might actually vote on an ad that's not going to be good.
Got it.
They don't know enough, it's not, So we would go and take those 20 some ideas and we would act them out. So if I had, for instance, we had an ad that, how many crunches does it take to burn a pound? Hey, is it 100? Is it 1,000? Wrong. It's 22,000.
Whoa.
Yeah. That means if you did 55 sit-ups a day, it would take you a year to burn.
Wow.
And you just eat 2 slices of pizza and gain it back, right?
Yep.
So let me show you the real way to burn belly or whatever it is. So I would act it out and I would show you. And then so people were like, whoa, you could see everyone's reaction. At the end, then we would vote. Out of those maybe 30 ideas, we would pick, if we needed to write 15, we would pick 15 out. But most of the time we wouldn't concern. We would say, okay, there's really only 8 of them that these 8 ideas we like. Okay, great. Johnson, go and outline some of these ideas. Let's get it to the copywriter and start writing. And even after it's written, then we do another review because we might not make it. We might not produce it because after it's written, it might not be, in the beginning, you have this great idea, you write it out and you're like, well, it's not that good.
That's it.
So it's a lot of phases that we're going through. And then even after post-production, then you're reviewing it again. And then you're like, I spent this, it's not that good. Let's redo the hook or whatever. Yeah. That was the process.
That's crazy. So, wow. I love it how you have that internal swipe file. That's super interesting.
And those ideas that we didn't take, of course, some of those are my ideas. And I'm like, man, I believe that was a good idea. So we don't delete those.
Yeah.
We would go back, either rework them to make them make sense. So one of the big sales lessons that we've always taken from back in the days was if you can't explain what you're talking about in 1 or 2 sentences, you don't know what you're talking about.
Good point. Yeah.
So if you're trying to write a hook and you're trying to get all your qualification, build rapport, trustability, who you are, your credibility, you're trying to get all that out and explain the hook of this, whatever you're trying to speak about. If you can't get that out in a sentence or 2, it's probably too complicated for your viewer to understand. So just redo it,
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So, I mean, that's wild. That level of process,
I mean, think about it. You. Let's say you came up with a great idea. You were like, whoa, I'm going to get this thing and I'm going to show this. And then it took you 10 minutes to explain it to me.
Yeah.
But you love that idea where, Ian, go back.
Yeah.
Write it out in 1 sentence and bring it back.
Right.
And if you can't, let's move on. Let's put in an email.
Right. Well, so I mean, I think that's something else you told me a while back was that so basically you had some kind of like on-ramping kind of farm league structure for writers with emails, ads. Like, what was the hierarchy? And then also, how did you find people to begin with? Like, how did you actually get people in that whole system?
So in the beginning, we actually had her name is Esther. She was in customer service, but she was super young. She came up to us. She was like, I need to make money. Like, maybe you could do copywriting, right? So we also have another copywriter. The other copywriter was actually a fitness competitor. So she had the knowledge, the content knowledge and all of that. Where Esther, she had more of the drive, the motivation and the wits, right? But she wasn't really big into fitness. So I had to decide, and I was trying to build an email copy team. I'm also building the front end copy team for content, for YouTube, for ads, and then for like program writing, right? So my idea was, okay, I'm going to take the wittiest person and throw her in emails, because in emails, you don't need to know as much content. You just need to know how to get someone to click. Some emails are like one sentence or just watch this video, right? Whatever, you could figure out. And then I had the content person go and write the YouTube and then just train them on the hooks, ideas, and that's how I got separated. But I believe they're both solid copywriters, but to start them off, they all start off by writing YouTube descriptions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So let's just say I wrote an ad and and you're a new copywriter, Ian, go ahead. You're going to be writing descriptions for these 6 ads. And they have to be max description. Like, you're filling the page up to the point where it says you can't insert any, you reached your limit. Yeah, they're pretty much, so our idea was they're going to have to watch that ad over and over to write the description. We don't give them the ad copy.
Yeah.
Like, there, you have to watch the ad, then write the description.
Nice.
Set timestamps, blah, 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 put CTAs in. We train them on tracking links. And you know what? If they forget a tracking link on our organic YouTube, it's detriment. It's crazy, right? Missed links, wrong links are just, it's terrible, right? But it's not as crazy as other parts. So, this trains them on how to, be responsible with links, posting on the right time, understanding urgency. Yeah. And this gets them writing. And then once they start writing the descriptions pretty well, we get them to, write from outlines and things like that.
How did you get people to begin with? Like, where did you find writers?
Man, we didn't look for copywriters. We had this thing where we believed in, especially Mike Chang, we believe in hiring the smartest, the most driven people. And if you could find that person, not only will they be able to write copy and figure it out, they'll also figure out all the other problems, right?
Yeah.
But if you just go and hire a copywriter, if you and I were, had our copy team, we're like, let's hire a copywriter. That's all they could do.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Not all of them. But if you go and just go, I'm going to hire the smartest, most driven person. You're like, you're going to write copy. Okay. And you're going to make money doing it. Great. Okay. And then they don't have a label. They don't have like identity that they're a copywriter. They just know they need to make money. Right. They'll be able to open to other things, take on more responsibilities. Yeah.
Oh, that's super smart. How was that? What's that saying? It's like hiring for attitude, training for skill. I can't remember, something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
As long as, they have to be driven. I mean, a person that's good at what they're doing, but not driven is kind of like useless. It's not useless, but you're not going to get consistency from them. And
yeah, no, absolutely. Dude, I wanted to, so just stepping like a big jump in time. So what's the mirror message?
Oh, the mirror message.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I always talk to my copywriter, even sales guys about, So if you were overweight and I was to ask you, Ian, why do you want to work out? You would probably tell me, I want to be healthy. I want to do this for my kids. I want to, just be happier with who I am. Those are lies, not that they're complete lies.
Yeah.
They're not urgent. Okay. Because for your health, you probably believe you're going to be alive for another 20, 30 years. So why take action today? Right. But the mirror message is, when you wake up in the morning and you go walk in the restroom and you look in the mirror and you see yourself without a shirt on, you're like, dang, what happened to me? I used to be a good looking guy. Women used to come to me. Now I feel like I'm that creep, or or I'm out of shape. I'm putting all my dry clean clothes on and they're all ruined because none of it looks good. All the deep issues, women won't talk to me. Men don't respect me. I haven't gotten a raise in 10 years. I'm working for the same company. I'm stuck. It's because of the way those are the real messages. And I think that if you're not in fitness sales or you're not really into fitness, you really don't know that. I mean, you kind of know it, but you'll be afraid of it. So you got to say those things. And the unique thing about that is no one really tells, you would never tell me that. So when you do hear that message on an ad, you're like, wait a minute, this is like a sign. I've never told anybody these feelings.
Right.
It must be a sign from above. Yeah. Or Facebook's listening to me.
Listen to my brainwaves.
Gosh, they're listening. Yeah.
So how do you uncover those deep,
you got to get, I feel like you got to get dark,
Yeah.
If how they say there's a thin line between love and hate. Well, you know what? It's hard to find that love. So go to the hate. And then once you learn to hate enough, you could probably jump to that love faster. Right. And let me know if this makes sense, but okay. If this doesn't make sense, but, so man, I kind of lost my train of thought on what I was going to say, but yeah. So you got to get really either positive or negative. So for YouTube, you want to try to write a little bit more positive, you don't, it's not like email warm traffic where, someone fell off an airplane and found a Bible and saved a life and, all this stuff. So you got to go into like, man, if I was a fit guy and this person's overweight, like if I was a bad person, what would I think about him? Oh my God, he's a slob. He must not care about him. I don't know. You start thinking about all that and going darker. And now you could feel the real pain, and a lot of people are afraid to think like that. They're afraid to even look at pictures of like, gum disease, they're freaked out. Right. I mean, how are you going to write copy? Seeing that picture will spark 100 new ideas in your brain. You're afraid of that. So you got to go deep into thinking about the darkness and just flip it. That's the life you could live if I, like, oh my God, you're a slob. You're this, you're never going to find a wife, blah, 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 blah. And then flip it. If you're in shape, you're going to find that one true love. You're going to get that promotion. Men are going to look at you and respect you. Kids won't point at you and laugh, whatever,
Wow. So, and one thing that's super impressive is that after SixPack, what was it, like 500 million or 750 million, ridiculous amount of the sales in that company. Then you've been doing a lot of other stuff and not just in fitness. So how do you go into something entirely new and go to these, go deep in these dark places and uncover those emotions that are going to get people to take action and on whatever the need they have and find the solution they're looking for with that product that you're helping to sell?
I think it's instead of thinking of that product, for instance, I wrote a biz op where, gosh, I forgot what it's about, but it's about investing or teaching you how to invest money and things of that sort. And I thought to myself, the same process, man, why do I need to make money? Because I want to make sure my kids are going to be fine. And, I want to make sure I don't have to work at a Walmart when I'm 60. Not that Walmart's anything bad, but I don't want, how do I create, and I was like, oh, I want to create generational wealth. And what kind of money do I want to make? I want to make what we call mailbox money, where every month just a check comes in, And so I started writing cotton and same thing, writing the copy. And also, what do, and go into controversial, like the opposing side of what do people without money do when the economy goes down? They sell everything, right? So just write the opposite, so I went to write the copy like, hey, do you know what rich, the elite rich people do when the economy is down? They spend more. Are you? Is that why you're not a millionaire? Did you know there's 100 million millionaires in the US? Why not you? Call them out. Yeah. Similar process. I mean, I don't even know much about investing.
Right.
that
But
way. But
you
I
get
know the
people.
emotions of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's what underlies it all, isn't it? That's super cool. So, so walk me through this unskippable, what's an unskippable hook, first of all?
Unskippable hook.
Yeah.
Well, that's my new copy program I'm working on.
Nice.
And it's teaching you how to write YouTube. I targeted YouTube, but this will work for, Facebook hooks and VSLs and things like that. But mainly it just talks about, the whole process of creating that hook, is more than just, spending 5 minutes and coming up with a line. Like I said, there was a process. I spent a day writing the hook, and how I would write it would be like 2 or 3 sentences, maybe 2 sentences and 1 line about the body copy that justifies the hook. I'll show you that template and kind of go through how I find, I also teach some of the sales process in there, because I believe if you're writing sales copy, you should know sales.
Okay.
It should,
Yeah.
and that's, yeah. So there's some sales training teaching you the sales process, going into the hook process. I break down examples, and then my logic on why these hooks work and how you could convert over, and then the body copy. Yeah. And that's
Nice.
what the Unskippable Hook program is.
Nice. We'll put a link to that for sure in the whatever link thing is here. But that's awesome. And then so yeah, I mean, like we emailed our list about this chat. People were super interested. They really wanted to hear from you, had a bunch of questions, and just wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit. Had some pretty detailed stuff here.
I know a lot of people always ask, what happened to SixPack?
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's obviously like an interesting sort of gossip question. I don't know what you can share or what you want to share, but a lot of people who remember probably are wondering, like, you guys were crushing it. So yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, with the company, it grew large.
Yeah.
It wasn't crazy large, but we had over 100 people in there. And the CEO, our CEO, Dan, at the time, he's just, he always wanted a smaller company. That's how it started, just a couple of guys and things like that, contract everything out. And towards the end, I was looking to sell, finding investor, and just a couple of us, just didn't want to go in that direction. And then when we left, you could see and then after that, you didn't have the copy, you didn't have the same phones, and kind of, yeah. You can see is when it comes to online offers, you don't have machines or equipment. The people are the equipment. So make sure you treat the people really well and oil them up. No one ever, in a factory, we fix machines, but in like online marketing team, no one fixes the people, which are the machines. So make sure you take care of them and things like that sort, and everything's aligned. Yeah. But that's kind of what happened. And, but that was towards the end, but in the mid part, I know a lot of people are like, what happened to Mike? He just rolled out, Yeah. He was just, with Mike, he was just not comfortable with the ads. Yeah. And
day in, day out. Yeah.
And he was reading the comments. We always tell him not to read the comments. You're reading the comments and it's like, you're a fraud. This is BS. And we're like, but then there's also all the positive ones. Mike, I've been doing your workouts every day for 5 years. I promised my brother who went to the military that I would do this, and now he's back and I'm more muscular than him. Yeah. There's always haters, and we need to ignore those. And it is what it is. But yeah, he didn't really enjoy the ads that much in the pitch, but yeah.
That's funny because, when I was looking over some old SixPack ads, and I don't think there's still any actually on the page, but I found some people who posted some stuff, and some people were super critical about certain things, but it was interesting. Even one really critical breakdown was saying, like, you have to admit, say what you will negatively, but this guy got a lot of people into fitness and like taking care of themselves and made a lot of people's lives better, really. Some people were annoyed, but like on the whole, there's a lot of positive
we have friends that were mad at us. We have friends who are doctors. They're like, they got their masters in kinesiology. They're even like AED certified they're everything. I don't know. they're like, what are you guys doing making these ads? And, and we were selling memberships before, and they're like, you guys are making all this money. I'm not, they couldn't understand why someone would buy from Mike and not someone who's highly educated and like went through all these years. And we would explain, it's a really good explanation. We would explain that, listen, Mike has charm. Okay. Yeah. He could tell Bob over there to do 50 push-ups a day, and that guy would do it.
Yeah.
And get in shape. Yeah. If you did 50 push-ups a day, you would probably have amazing chest. No one. And then while this educated guy is teaching, the most detailed, high-tech diet workout program, no one's listening to you and no one's doing it. So it's probably better that this guy's doing maybe 50 push-ups a day than your, high-tech program. Mm-hmm. And there's a conflict in there, that they couldn't understand, like, how could this guy with his bro science? But one interesting thing, I know people come up to it. They've told me and Mike, they're like, you guys only convert because Mike's an Asian dude who's muscular, but the truth is we know about fitness. I mean, we know every nutrient. We had to dumb down our ads. Yeah. Not dumb down. We had to change the verbiage and then kind of lower the reading level. And I know everyone does that. You even run it through reading level, graders. So we had to make it so easy that anyone could understand. Yeah. And we learned that from sales. We were selling memberships, training, a year of training to CEOs of companies. And we would talk to them like they were kids. Hey, this is the locker. You know what you do here? I'm put clothes in. That's right. You put your clothes in and then you lock it like this. Here's the key. They're like, thanks. They're like, oh my God, you talk to like CEOs and, people that make millions like that? Yes. Because people who want to take action, they're tired of managing. I want to be managed sometimes, Right. Tell me what to do in the simplest form. And that's what we try to do in our ads. Got it. Making it super clear. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of 50 push-ups a day, I heard that you had some crazy mandatory workouts. Yes. Yeah. How did that go? Yeah. It was not good. There was injuries. So it went from, we had to do this thing called the M100, right? So this is the time when I was running the team, and afterwards they did it for a little bit more for the phone team. We forced the phone team to do it. You had to do this workout. I think it was 100 reps. So it would be 10 push-ups, 10 burpees, and 10 double pump squats. You had to repeat that. And then it evolved into push-ups and squats, and then evolved to yoga. Yeah. And then once it got to the yoga, a lot of people were like, nah, I'm not doing anything anymore. Yeah. And people were getting injured. They were too tired to work. Yeah. It was cool though in the beginning. And then also before that, we were going to the gym together in the morning when we had a smaller crew. In the beginning, we had like 10, 15 people. We would all go to the gym at the same time. The gyms would try to kick us out. They thought we were doing group training. Just getting pumped. We would show them the video. We're like, look, we have like 2 million subscribers. We're actually just working out. Like, that's not you. That's funny. Yeah, mandatory workouts. And we were working, all day. I don't think people realize the amount of work it takes. They're like, they see the videos, Mike's happy, working out, relaxing. And when it comes to ads and all this, you're looking at numbers. Sometimes you're working, you wake up get to work at like 8:30 and you're working until 10 at night, day to day. And, some people think you just, they see 1 or 2 ads that are working. They don't realize you have to make like 40 of them for 1 or 2 to hit. Yeah. If you're lucky. Yeah. That's why I have friends like, Johnson, I wrote like 5 ads. None of them are working. I'm like, well, you should write 25 more. Test them out. But yeah, that is hilarious. Yeah. I mean, I remember like waking up in the early morning and needing to check ads and then thinking that somehow my brain was connected to my computer and thinking like, oh yeah, that campaign's doing fine. That one's fine. I can just stay in bed. So like you get kind of delirious. If it's not fine, you're like, oh, all right. Let me get up. Exactly. That's when you start thinking, I just need to win the lottery. Yeah. It's always an option. But so
we got some questions here for some people who are wondering also, like, okay, if you're starting from zero again, you knew everything that you know now. You go back in time, Johnson at Bally's Total Fitness training. Like, what would you do? How would you, yeah.
Start all over?
Yeah.
I think, man, sometimes I think about this. Maybe I would try to be a doctor or something like a set path. You know, I always thought being a doc. I have friends who are doctors. My sister's going to school for all that, and I always thought, man, that's really difficult. And let me go into like sales and marketing. Now that I think about it, sales and marketing might be a little bit more difficult, you know, because there's no set path. You don't know what you're going to jump into, you know. But man, that's just an alternate thought, but I'm not sure which one's better. But that would be one of the options I would go into, being a psychologist or something, you know. And now that I'm all into ads, now that I'm, you know, older and been through work, if I could go back to school, that's what I would go for.
Got it. You've been doing some serious applied psychology for years now. I mean, like, yeah, seeing those results.
Man, it's a lot.
What do you, I mean, what would you say makes a good hook? And what would you say, what's the biggest difference when you come into these companies? So just for context, so everyone knows, Johnson, you get hired by companies and you come in and you make amazing ads, you crush it. Agencies hire you, et cetera, et cetera. And when you come in and you kind of survey what they got going on, what are the biggest mistakes that you see people making again and again when it comes to trying to create video, specifically YouTube, that drives action?
I think, man, one thing specifically with YouTube, like you said, I would say in the beginning, I would see that there's not enough CTAs, call to actions in the ads, you know, and then what we always try to apply is that there's like the impulse buyer. And I talk about this in the mirror message, the program, where there's an impulse buyer, kind of like me. If you show me a cool pair of shoes, I'm buying it. You don't need to explain. You don't need to explain any science. Okay. I don't care what leather it is. Okay. But then there's also people that need to know, why should I buy this shoe? Is it good for running? Is the air pocket, is it really going to better my joints? I don't care about that right now, but some people do. So when you're selling on an ad, you got to cover everybody. You're not just selling to one person, right? And then there's also the emotional. How is this going to make me feel? Are people, is wearing these shoes going to get me more attention? Is that girl that I always, you know, looked at and she wears nice clothes, is she going to recognize that I'm wearing cool clothes too or something? You know, so your ad needs to go into, hey, it's Johnson. Check out how I'm picking up, you know, how I'm getting all this attention, blah, blah, blah. And then the thing comes down to my shoes. He goes, listen, it's the shoes, man. Just like Michael Jordan, just like blah, blah, blah. It's the shoes. Hey, if you want to be a badass or whatever, click the link below and get your shoes now. Like, that's the impulse. And I think a lot of people are missing that. And then you explain the logic, give them another call to action. And yeah.
So multiple calls to action in the same ad that kind of target different reasons for taking action.
Different feelings.
Yeah.
So for instance, I had that, I don't know if you've seen it. This is one of my favorite ones. I always talk about it. It's the Thomas DeLauer with the stretch marks. That ad, you know, in the beginning, he shows his stretch marks and he's like, hey, you're probably wondering why there's these circles on my body. Well, these are circles where my stretch marks used to be when I was 300 pounds.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's a great hug. When I told people were like, oh my God, I have stretch marks. It's one of the deepest pains I have, but you make light out of it. Hey, you know, in fact, I love these scars. They remind me of I could do anything, even means, you know, losing 100 pounds and from going from obese to, you know, being healthy and fit. And that reminds me every day, you know, and then if you want to make a change, click the link below. That's your impulse. We haven't even explained anything yet. You know, literally just hitting their emotion. And then he goes and explains, you see, I did this. And then we added the final emotional story. You know, I was going to my sister's wedding and I couldn't even find a suit because I was 300 pounds, the biggest day of my sister's life. And yeah. And then another call to action.
Got it. So adding those in the mix. That's awesome. Yeah. So someone asked a really specific question around, they're looking to start a D2C skincare supplement company for acne. And how would you approach it to scale from 0 to 100 million a year, would you lead with the front end info product on skincare, then sell the supplement on the back end? Or would you go straight to a VSL, video sales letter, selling the supplement? Yeah. How would you, this person's asking how you suggest going about it?
There's like a lot of ways they could go into the affiliate side. And of course, those are different page looking landers, and then they could run the cold traffic. But to do $100 million, this is a pretty tough question. What would I? Building cold. Go and build your lander, build your get your VSL that's based on for cold traffic. Have your e-com pages the same thing, because you got to ping back. Some people only buy from e-com. Mm-hmm. Some people only they'll buy from those weird looking direct marketing pages. Yeah. If they're doing those two, and then of course sometimes you got to make sure those VSLs, and they're all different. The page copy, they're split testing, and they're doing the affiliate side, getting that. And, beyond that, making sure you have a really good back end. If you want to hit that 100 million, you got to have a great email team. Mm-hmm. It's not just, I'm going to email them randomly, it's beyond just autoresponders, right? Mm-hmm. And beyond getting affiliates to mail out for you and paying or whatever, doing trade-offs. You got to build your own internal email sends and new offers internally, constantly testing that. And maybe even have a phone team. That was one of the biggest things for us. That's how we were able to spend so much on ads. We were even able to, be ultra competitive and bid out other people, because we would convert at a lower, we could take a loss in the beginning.
Got it.
Right. And let the phone team recover, or let the email recover. So yeah, that's
super interesting. I remember you saying something too a while back about, you would test offers on the phone. Something like that.
Yeah.
How did that happen? That's super interesting.
So we're like, hey, so every year we would try to get a product totally created, and a couple of VSLs, all the ads, everything done by around November or so. Mm-hmm. So we could start testing. So by the time January, exactly what's going to work, right?
Got it.
And if nothing's working, you got another 2 months to figure it out, right? So we were like, hey, what supplement should we do? Let's order this supplement, aminos or whatever. We're like, hold on. We have like a 40-person phone team calling our customers. Let's order 200 bottles of maybe 3 or 4 different supplements. And let's see which one sells to the phone team first. And then from there, yeah. One of them was greens. Well, obviously it was a while back. We're like, hey, we made it, like a men's health drink, I think aminos and some other stuff. And then yeah. And then the greens sold the best. We're like, let's make greens.
Wow. So you sold it on the phone, it beat out the other products. Mm-hmm. Then you build out the actual funnel for it. Like, you sell it with a VSL?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the VSL, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
We called it, yeah. And there's always like a pain point to it. We called it green detox. That's right.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure exactly in the name what it does. I remember we did that in the URLs, like get abs after 4. Like we would get this, do this, Yeah.
Super clear. Yeah. What's your process like for writing video sales letters versus, say, 3-minute YouTube ads?
I would stall for a long time. Kind of like go to sleep worrying, like, man, I gotta write all this. Yeah. Well, I feel like for cold traffic, right? Yeah. I feel like commercials are just VSLs or commercials extended with a closure. Because your YouTube ad has the hook, has the explanation, and then it just doesn't tell you to buy it tells you to click, right? The only difference when you go to the VSL, it just, has similar stuff. And then it has the whole entire back end about like the science, the breakdown, the little additional stories, and then the money back guarantee, all that. And I think that those are main difference. So the starting to write the VSL, I would go on same thing. I would look up YouTube ads. I would go look at the top offers, kind of see what everyone else is doing. Also brainstorm my own ideas and see how I could kind of, because deep inside as a copywriter, you don't want to copy, in your heart, you're like, I don't want to make my similar to, I'm better than that guy or better than, but if it's working, you can't, fight logic and stats
Right.
Okay, let's see what they're doing and let me, improve it. Let me write it better. And let me take the, what we say is like copy the flow, but not the words. It's like rewriting the words, lyrics to another song.
Got it.
Yeah. Like a big hit song, just rewrite the lyrics, but keep that flow. If that first sentence is 6 words, maybe I need to write 6 words on that first sentence. Just like they.
Interesting. Copy the flow.
Sometimes because sometimes it's like music, right? You know how if someone's pitching you, hey, Ian, you want to know how the best way, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know this? And did you know this? And oh my God, if this happened, that happens. And that's what you're missing. Listen. And you're like, whoa, that's a pretty good bounce flow, right? Let me write my ad based on that flow.
Wow. I never actually heard of that before. Like I've heard of, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think I may have told you this too. So what we used to do also is when the video editor gets done editing, we would watch it with no volume.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's super cool.
We would watch it with no volume. We're like, look, if I could understand and I'm willing to maybe click without any sound and just watching your video, this is a great video. Because once you add in the words, it's like boom, right? And then so I mean, we're trying to get, when you're doing this every single day, grinding out, you're trying to find every little tip or tactic that you can apply to see if you can make a difference. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Layers and layers. Yeah. Applying layers and layers and layers. Yeah.
That's super cool. And then I know, Chris, right? You're the all-star editor. Yeah. You guys would split test editors, all that stuff.
Split test video editors.
Yeah.
Yes. So you get a script and you pay an editor and then you have the editor finish it and it doesn't convert. Man, keep trying. Maybe if you believe in that script, maybe get another editor. So we had it, where like you said, we had Chris split test with 2 editors with the same VSL. One lost by 40%.
Wow.
The other won by 20.
Wow.
So that was like a 60% difference with the same script.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, and then they just made choices on the footage, basically.
Well, we didn't let them. They weren't allowed to talk to each other. They had to have 2 complete. Like they had to have, 2 different visuals. Music has to be different. We're looking for big differences.
That's really cool. It's crazy. It's that big of a difference. Same messaging. Wow, that just goes to show you how important all that stuff is, and we usually don't even think about it.
Yeah. So we have clients that me and Chris. We had clients where they were like, we're not ready. We're not ready right now. We're not going to spend this money, make these ads. And, we're like, do you have ads that you tried? Yeah. 2 years ago, we had these ads. They didn't work. And we spent a ton of money. We're not doing that again. Well, send me those ads. And then I would just tell Chris, like, I would look at it, maybe come up with a new line. Or sometimes Chris would just go and rearrange it in what he thinks. He used to do music videos.
Okay.
He actually was nominated. I think he was nominated for a Grammy for music. Man,
what?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like a Latin Grammy. Yes,
humblest guy in the world.
Man, he has like 100-some thousand followers on Facebook just for his music. It's crazy.
So everyone knows this Chris Encarnacion. So yeah, legend. And actually hoping to have Chris on our podcast too soon.
Yeah, get him to sing you a song too.
No way, he can sing too.
He'll sing you.
This guy Chris in Dubai, he was walking around at the affiliate summit. He's like, man, I'm just, I'm so happy. All you guys are such, like you guys are the real deal, And he's just like kind of wide-eyed. I'm like, Chris, dude, you're like, you're a legend,
Yeah, I mean,
how many billion people have seen videos that you've done? And I didn't even know he had this whole music career. Like,
yeah,
that's wild.
Man, sometimes I don't even know what we like. I'm like, man, Chris, I saw this ad. This is so good. He's like, I made that. I was like, I edited that one. I was like, oh, I didn't know. Okay, funny. Cool. Yeah. We would go hardcore, Oh, and one thing is, give your editor a chance to create a new hook for you. So if you have an editor editing your copy and then editing your production, whatever, your video, and then I would tell, we used to tell Chris, hey, come up with 2 different hooks. Like, find B-roll, or if you want, write a new sentence. Because sometimes they're in the trench shooting and they might see something we haven't seen, and if they do create something great and it works, wow, amazing, right? And then they feel great. But if it doesn't work, oh well, took a chance and we had a new variation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. And then how do you actually give the feedback on the results to the copy team and to the editors? Was it just a thing of like, hey, this one worked, this one didn't? Or was there some kind of, oh, this one got a 1.2, whatever?
Yeah. So we didn't look at, we looked at the stats with our ad team. So we would have this weekly meeting where our ad manager and our CEO, Dan, was running the ads. And they would meet with us. They were like, hey, these ads, we have a list of them. These are new ads. And he would highlight which one's working, which one's doing okay, which one is like, we need to kill it. Yeah. And then so we're like, man, and then we would take, of course, the one that aren't working, write new hooks from, keep the same body copy. It sounds bad, not bad, but like, the body copy, sometimes we would just recycle it. We would just write new hooks that kind of connects to it and just keep using it. Because once the viewer sees a new thumbnail, they might think this is a new video already. And if they watch a video, this is one thing that we thought of. If you watch a video that you've already seen, but you think it's a new video and you kind of know the content, you feel so smart. Right. And that's why we were constantly changing the thumbnails when we were doing the discovery and then, or the whatever on top. And then, what else? We would change just the first second or two. So when people watch it, they feel like it's something different, but it's not,
Yeah.
They feel smart for knowing what they know already.
That's so funny.
You're enticed to take action.
I actually just listened to this guy, Rory Sutherland. He's this Ogilvy agency, UK guy, really smart dude. He had this talk, I think it was a TED talk, and he was saying how like kids rewatch shows that they've already seen because they get that dopamine hit from knowing what's going to come next and predicting it and then being right. So that matches exactly what you're saying. So that's actually super interesting.
This is the part where they're going to do this. They will watch the entire video for that 1 5-second part.
That's crazy.
They don't know that you can rewind. But that's the thing. You're just reconfirming and same thing.
That's super interesting. Johnson, I know you're a busy guy. I wanted to make sure that people know where you have a Facebook group where you share a bunch of all your secrets.
Well, I started a Facebook group. I'm getting, start posting regularly in there, but you could jump in there. I want to start posting similar to what we talked about, posting videos that we've seen, maybe sharing videos. Yeah. I know when it comes to ads, I've written ads for clients and I want to share some, but you can't, because, when it comes to ad, whoever has that first big idea, this one's going to scale and then everyone's going to copy and it dilutes. And now the message is saying, so we don't really want to share those. But if you see good ads, share it to the page. And I want to start, explaining why I think that ad's good. Because I saw some of your emails are awesome where you break down ads and everything. And I was thinking maybe coming up with like alternate hook ideas or, anybody wants to jump on brainstorming calls, we could do group ones and kind of go over copy. Yeah. Something fun and educational.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Our team's done some great breakdowns and I'd love to see your breakdowns, man, because you have such a varied background with all these different, coming from SixPack, working with all these other different companies. That's super exciting. I love how the frameworks you're thinking of, and you have the sales context in there and the whole thing. So yeah, it's super exciting. And then you also, just to reiterate, you have your mirror method or mirror.
Yeah, the mirror message.
Mirror message,
the unskippable hook program.
Unskippable.
And then I'm hoping to get that out in the next month or so or two, maybe. Yeah.
Got it.
Get that out. Yeah.
That's super exciting because obviously it's so much background that you got there. And man, thank you so much for getting on the call and anything else you want to share?
A great tip for the hooks, role play the hooks. Let's say I came up with a couple so I have Chris, I role play with Chris a lot. I tell him my ideas. It could be 11 at night. I have an idea. I'm calling him up just so I can remember it in the future. Right. And I also have some sales buddy I need to see their reaction. And then these guys will also tell me exactly what they think. For instance, if I had a great idea, I'd call you up like, yo, I got these 3 new ad ideas. What do you think? You're like, man, that one is good. You know, you got to write that one, so role play it out, act it out, even role play in the mirror. Yeah. And then get conversational. Yeah. And hit those, and then always remember, like, what is it going to take to close this guy? What is this analogy? What's his message that simplifies it all, that wires in their brain that makes it work? Yeah, create those hooks.
Awesome. Johnson, thank you so much, man. It's been great to chat.
Yeah, sure.
And they'll be in touch. And thanks for sharing all your knowledge with everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And then with the Unskippable program, last thing is, I do give a free template in there with the ad. It's a basic breakdown. I also give some top tips, talks about the role playing. I also talk about this wave effect, different section in your hook. You got to redraw their attention back up. How do you do that with interesting facts? So grab that. And then and we're also going to randomly select people to do brainstorm calls for ads.
Very cool. Yeah. Take advantage of that. If you get that opportunity, it could be a breakthrough ad waiting to happen right there. So that's awesome.
You never know. We could come up. Remember, if you have one, what happens if you have one killer YouTube ad? Your company could go.
Yeah, that can be your business. I mean, look at like Purple Mattress or
Squatty Potty.
Squatty Potty. Exactly.
One monster ad
or Six-Pack.
There you go. Eating one.
Yeah. Mike stuffing his face.
Yeah. Copy it.
Yeah,
I would try it myself. Yeah.
It's about time. Like people on the, there's a whole new generation who hasn't seen that ad. So that's a take home right there.
And we had that music.
Yeah. He had the close-ups too on his face. Like,
yeah, just flying out.
That's awesome. Johnson, man, hope to see you soon at one of these events. And thanks so much, dude. We'll be in touch.
Hang out.
Good to hang out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ian.
See you, Johnson.